quite cool today. I don't know if it's because the Super Eagles lost yesterday, so Lagos weather decided to compensate us and say, okay, you know what, now don't suffer too much. Let us help you calm your head down. So it's not like after losing yesterday, then some will come beat you today. So the weather was quite okay, and I would say that I hope you were good. Trust me, I hope you're fine. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're holding on. That's a very important thing. I've always told us to just, whatever we can do, let's try to survive in the most legitimate means possible. Let's just survive, because not only ourselves we get, okay? We don't get any other person, only ourselves we get. My name is Esther Wachuku today. Welcome to the Evening Rush. It's a midweek. Oh, yes. And I'm sure you're wondering why I'm excited and smiling. I have a very intelligent guest in the studio today, because it's going to not just provide insight, he's going to help us break down some complexities, specifically in the legal field. He's also going to help us go back in time in terms of giving us a historical perspective to the issues that we'll be discussing today. So we're not just only going to be reeling out, hot topics. We're going to get logically informed. We're going to get intellectually edified. And trust me, obviously, we expect your conversation and your contribution in the course of the program. So right now, we're streaming live on YouTube. So kindly go on your YouTube application. On the search bar is at VOP903 FM. Once you click on that, obviously you see the live button there. Click on it and we are live, so you virtually be part of the conversation. Once again, my name is Esther Wachuku. The numbers that you would call and send your messages to will be on the screen if you're joining us via YouTube. Otherwise, when it's time for us to get reactions, I'll call out the numbers. What are the hot topics we're looking at today? Interestingly, right, well, we know the drama that took place yesterday during the Senate Ethics Committee, where Senator Nwaboye and Obi Ezekwesili had a clap back, and quite a couple of derogatory comments were flying between the both of them. Well, they had to address different media outlets to give their own opinions, or will I say narrative, as to how the situation devolved to that heated exchange. And obviously Senator Nwaboye has come out to actually say, you know what, I'm sorry. He has apologized and said, I'm sorry, she's like a mother to me, and watching and seeing all that, but he still stands by his reaction. I'm going to be asking my guest today why, because when we're speaking behind the scenes, he said, he had to do that too. There's a reason why he had to react the way he reacted. He'll be educating us on that as well. Meanwhile, Nyesom Wike has come out to say that he's going to make sure that Atiku Abubakar loses again if at all he decides to campaign in 2027. He said, I am going to make sure that you lose again. This was based on his comments concerning the 2023 VP slot. So if you are listening to the interview with Osage, one of the ladies that works with one of the watched television outlets in Nigeria here, Atiku Abubakar said that the second time during the consensus, he said, you guys go ahead, compile a couple of names for me, because what happened in 2019 thereabout, where he chose Peter Obi as his vice presidential candidate, they said that he did not do what you call proper consultation. So he said, since that did not work, you guys go and compile a couple of names for me, and then I'll work with that. So according to him, he said that when the names were brought to him, there were three names. One was Ifan Yokowa, the second was Nyesom Wike, and the third was one other person. I've forgotten the name of the person he mentioned. So he said, well, since the number one was Ifan Yokowa, he decided to go with Okowa. So as for Wike, he knew Wike, but Wike was number two. So he just went with what was in the list. Well, for Wike coming out to make this statement, he said, I will make sure that this 2027 elections, if you happen to be the presidential candidate of whatever political party you say you want to belong to, I will make sure you lose. Meanwhile, in the same vein, Nyesom Wike has come out to ask Fubara, the suspended governor of Rivers State, to come out, let them apologize, all right? Let them come to Abuja and apologize to President Tinubu. He's begging the governors to say, okay, you know what, come to Abuja, let's discuss with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu so that this state of emergency will be lifted up. But Ankyo Briggs is of the note that Fubara should not trust anything Wike says, and that he should not sign any document. If he's confused and he needs anybody to speak with, he should come with the elders, and that they're the only ones who has his best interest at heart. And it's actually shocking that in less than a month, when the state of emergency was declared, Nyesom Wike is asking Fubara to come, and let let's go and meet the president. Let him help us resolve this. How do you expect Fubara to believe where you're coming from if we don't know that there will be certain terms and conditions attached, which will be detrimental to Fubara and possibly detrimental to River State? We also want to look at the scenario where the sole administrator intends to appoint caretaker committee members that will be in charge of the local government. I mean, the state of emergency declaration was for him to just make sure that there was law and order maintained in the state. He was not meant to make any appointments. He was not meant to be involved in anything whatsoever. So the question is this. The Supreme Court actually said that the fund meant for River State should be paused until a legally constituted State House of Assembly was put together for a representation of that budget, right? So what is the legal proceeding for the fund released to General Ibok Etta Ibas? And who would look through those funds? Who is going to audit the fund? Normally, the River State House of Assembly members are the ones who would you have to pass through that particular money. I think about 400 billion is what was given to the state. So how will this monies be utilized? Ibok has come out to tell us that that fund will be used to pay salaries and all. Is that all? Then secondly, they're asking about certain projects, that some that have commenced and some that are ongoing. The question is, what is the sole administrator's business with ongoing projects in the state? Your stay there is just for 6 months. So what do you want to do? Are you the governor? What exactly is your responsibility there? All right. Number 3, during the swearing in, is there a state of emergency in the 1999 Constitution? This is the legal angle we want to look at. When you are swearing somebody in, right, you're taking an oath. There's supposed to be a document, and the binding document is the Constitution. So what did the president use to swear Ibok Etta Ibas with? I want to understand this scenario. So my legal practitioner is here because we still have other hot topics to look into, where the National Assembly is saying that there are suggestions that there are probes on Russian spies as KGB in the National Assembly. It was brought up by Senator Karimi, seconded by Senator Natasha Akpoti. So the question is, how did the Russians invade our National Assembly and they're spying on the activities within the National Assembly and they have not used it against us, whatever intelligence they've gathered? Well, the police said that began probing, and then some youths actually brought down APC logo. They said that they wanted to impose a chairman on them. They destroyed the APC secretariat over an alleged imposition of a consensus chairman. They said they will not allow that, so they destroyed the building. Well, these and some other things we're looking into this evening. Right now, I actually have right here in the studio Barrister Eze Eluche. Barrister Eze Eluche is a political, national, and social affairs commentator. Barrister Eze Eluche is also a historian. He'll be helping us to divert some of these issues and give us an intellectual perspective in his most objective and unbiased manner to the topics of discussion. Barrister, good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much for the invite.
I sincerely do appreciate you being here. Honestly, you revitalize my intellect. You help broaden things for me when we're having this conversation, and it's quite amazing and lovely. Barrister, what is the constitutional role? The president was swearing in Ibok Etta Ibas with what constitution? With what document did he use to swear him in?
It has to be the constitution. But the unfortunate reality is that in this...
It has to be the Constitution?
I mean, that's the only thing you use to swear.
What Constitution? Is there any state of emergency in the Constitution?
The 1999 Constitution. Yes. There is a provision for state of emergency.
Yes.
But there are procedures
which
you must adopt. But one of the procedures that the state of emergency is called where law and order has broken down in a state.
Okay.
Where that means that maybe there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of insecurity and all that stuff. But in this state of River State, who has killed who? Have you had any gunshots? Have you heard of any violence in any part of Rivers for the past 1 week that this Mr. Ibok or General and Admiral Ibok has been in office? The answer is no. You now ask yourself, why has there been no state of emergency declared in Borno State?
Okay.
In Zamfara, in Niger State. Niger State, over 40% of the territory cannot be assessed by the government. But no state of emergency in those areas. You declare state of emergency in a place where there has been no killings, no violence, just normal jostling of politicians. So when you say he swore Mr. Ibok in, it's not a Mr. because he's a retired admiral.
Yes.
The unfortunate reality is this. Who approved even the proclamation of state of emergency that Mr. President made? The Constitution is very, very clear. Section 305
yes.
provides that there must be 2/3 of members of the House who affirm the proclamation. Now, Two-thirds means that there must be a specific number. But what happened in the House was that there was a voice vote. Those in favor say
after that state of emergency.
Yes, no, I mean they have to approve the state of emergency proclamation by Mr. President.
Okay.
He has proclaimed it already, but the law provides that the House must approve it.
But is that approval not supposed to take place before that emergence of a state of emergency commences?
No.
Okay.
The president can actually proclaim state of emergency, but within a certain number of days, I think 3 days, he must bring that proclamation order to the House.
Okay.
And the House will now affirm. Now, it says specifically there must be 2/3 of the members of the House affirming.
Okay.
Now, what we had was a voice vote. How are you sure that the voice vote was only 1/3 of the members?
Exactly.
Now, because when you are voting, there can be those who support, those who abstain, and those who are against. So the issue cannot be that nobody had any nay, because you don't know if the others abstained. There must be 2/3 supporting. So even the affirmation of the proclamation by the National Assembly is fraudulent. It's unconstitutional. So in any way you look at it, the proclamation itself is unconstitutional. The affirmation by the National Assembly is unconstitutional. You have mentioned the issue of the amount of money released to the sole administration.
Yes.
The Supreme Court, despite that judgment being jaundiced, and I keep on saying it is one of the shames of the Nigerian judiciary, it was very, very emphatic that the central bank should not release any funds accruing to Rivers State to the government until the governor presents the budget to the House of Assembly. In his proclamation for state of emergency, Mr. Tinubu dissolved the House of Assembly, suspended the governor. So would
you call that a democratic coup?
It's not a democratic coup. It's a coup. Because a coup is when you remove democratically elected government by unconstitutional means. I have now stated clearly that on every front of it, the removal of Fubara was unconstitutional. So it is technically and practically speaking, Mr. Tinubu effected a coup against the people of Rivers State.
Okay.
So now, who did Mr. Ibok read the budget to before the central bank released those funds to the state government?
Exactly.
Which means that the CBN governor who released funds or whosoever authorized the release of funds is in contempt, is in express contempt of the Supreme Court judgment. You see here another illegality. So you now wonder, if there is so much illegality, that means this is an illegal regime. And it's not just only on Rivers State, in several facets. You can now wonder, it's supposed to be a senior advocate of Nigeria, who is the Attorney General of the Federation.
All right.
And I'm talking of Mr. Fagbemi.
Okay.
Some of us thought he was a very erudite scholar.
Well, he actually confirmed. He said what the president did was the right thing.
No.
He made the right decision.
Well, he can talk whatever nonsense he wants to talk. I've explicitly stated to you that this is unconstitutional. So Mr. Fagbemi can talk any nonsense, because we had a lot of utterances of rubbish coming out. When he says he did the right thing, what was the state of emergency in Rivers when it was declared?
It was because of the pipeline explosion. That's the claim. Because I'm about to read out what the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group has done. They've gone to do an investigation in Rivers, and apparently those security breaches had no connection or links to the suspended governor. That's what the monitoring group said.
Look, what of the House that voted by voice vote? Was that right? So if Mr. Fagbemi, a senior advocate, says that, I can conveniently tell him that he was talking absolute nonsense. Because and it has gone to that time, because for too long, we've allowed these kind of characters to ride over Nigeria. And then when you now look at them, you know that they are talking based on jaundiced opinion, jaundiced reasoning. And they have misled the people and misled the state. That is unfortunate. It's
quite unfortunate, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to understand what this signifies. For example, we know that when that pipeline explosion happened, the president was disturbed, obviously. But a couple of persons said it was like this particular scenario was deliberately created so that this kind of fiat can take place. For example, when the situation occurred, this group is the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Groups, said that its investigation showed no evidence of financial transactions or operational links between the state government and the known militant factions. You know, yesterday we heard that some of them were caught. In fact, they were killed by the Nigerian military when they wanted to sabotage the pipelines. We heard 2 days ago as well that there are plots by these militant factions to go into the creeks and, disrupt some of the pipelines. There was an explosion in one of the facilities on Sunday. Fine Face came out to tell us that no, it was just a wear and tear situation. It wasn't based on the militants. Yesterday, we were told that the Nigerian army were able to apprehend some persons, literally kill them, who they saw they were trying to tamper with the pipelines. But the question now is, with this particular monitoring group saying that they had to conduct investigations and found that they had no link with the governor or the suspended governor, why was that investigation not first of all carried out and ascertained before the president decided to enact a state of emergency? I'm just asking.
Well, when Mr. President says there was a pipeline explosion, that was why he declared state of emergency. The fact is there have been total wipeout of villages in Niger, in Benue, in Plateau, in Zamfara, where hundreds have been killed, and there was no reaction, no state of emergency. So telling us that because of one pipeline explosion, you declaring state of emergency is crap. I mean, I'm trying to be very, very...
Please, you have to be, yes.
It's absolute crap. Because now these pipelines, most of the pipelines in Nigeria were laid down over 50, 60 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, in the 70s and 80s, but mostly even in the 60s. So these pipelines have been corroding over the years. And when you go to the creeks, or go to where these pipelines pass through, you see that a lot of them have leakages.
Yes.
So when they have leakages, blowing up is just a matter of time. So for the government to make such allusions that it is pipeline explosion that led to
pipeline, the fact that the legislative building was destroyed, that the state governor has not tried to make sure that there is peace, there's no proper constituted House of Assembly and all of that, which is unconstitutional and undemocratic, and that he has refused to represent the 2025 budget as stipulated by the Supreme Court. Well, that's what the president said in his live broadcast.
Unfortunate reasons. In Lagos State, the House of Assembly is in crisis.
Okay.
In several, nobody has declared state of emergency in Lagos. In several states. So all this reason being given is unfortunate.
All right.
Now, for me, the whole setup started even when Mr. President tried to intervene in the very first instance.
Okay.
And that is after the 27 lawmakers who decamped from the PDP, under which they were elected, decamped to the APC.
Okay.
And the president, rather than uphold the constitution, which is that once you decamp from the party that elected you, you lose your seat in the House of Assembly. Rather than stick to that constitutional fact, he opted to broker peace. How do you broker peace between legality and illegality?
Okay.
So right from that onset, he created crisis in the state. And by declaring state of emergency in that state, we all know the reason is this, and it's very, very clear. Rivers State, unfortunately for the state and its people, the governors of that state have made the funds of Rivers State available to run elections and to rig elections across Nigeria.
Okay.
During Amechi's time, he used the funds of Rivers State to help put in place Buhari. During his own time again, Wike helped to use the Rivers funds to put in Tinubu. So they have made their states, the state funds available for electoral malpractice. So now I believe Mr. President is just cashing in on that. And it's unfortunate for the people of Rivers State because as the major oil producing state, they should be living in abundance. But when you go to Rivers State, apart from Port Harcourt and maybe Bonny, where you have and Bonny is just around the LNG project, Rivers State is virtually a big village.
I think it's even more like that in most states.
It's more like
actually
a big village, and it's a place that has potentials for tourism, for industrialization, for whatsoever. But you see nothing and absolutely nothing. Rather, when the government builds a flyover, he celebrates. Builds a bridge, he celebrates. From a state that generates almost a quarter of Nigeria's oil wealth. So what at this instance now, what has happened is that both antagonists, the Fubara faction and the Wike faction, have now lost out. Mr. Tinubu has put in his man there who is just receiving 400 billion, like you mentioned, without accountability. Absolutely zero accountability. It is at the beck and call of the sole administrator that these monies will be spent. There is no check and balance.
But we've seen videos and pictures of Wike and the sole administrator together. So you can't say that Wike is not benefiting from the state of emergency as well.
Well,
they seem to be good allies.
I will not veer into that angle because some of those pictures may be older pictures or whatever. But the reality is, even if you are seeing with pictures, that doesn't mean he may be benefiting.
All right.
On the basis of it, the only person the sole administrator owes accountability or responsibility to is Mr. Tinubu, the president.
Okay.
And to no other person else. So that means they virtually lost out.
Well, in the same vein, Wike is calling that Nigeria's unity and stability is what is essential for the country's progress. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory emphasized the importance of prioritizing the nation's interest over personal or group agendas, which is that's why I called it. This is an irony. Now, as a leader, according to him, making decisions that benefit the nation is crucial, even if it means facing criticism. Remaining committed to principles and responsibilities is vital, and leaders must avoid being intimidated by any group. So he also called on religious leaders that they play a very huge role in promoting unity and national progress, that they must be cautious of misinformation and avoid being manipulated. Now, the thing is this, according to him, he said effective leadership requires using one's platform to promote unity, peace, and national progress. After elections, governance must continue regardless of political preferences, and that citizens must pray for the government's success as national progress relies on collective responsibility and shared commitment to unity. In other words, the situation in River State is unfortunate. According to the countenance, he does not want that to happen. So for unity and progress, he should come. Let them meet the president and beg the president. Now it's funny because you have never given a body language like you were interested in this. For example, Pandef, when they met with the president before the state of emergency, said that they wanted to find out the root cause of the conflict because it was affecting the smooth operation of running the states, and is also affecting the people that the governor was supposed to govern. Now, they said they called Fubara and spoke with him, right? So they now wanted to call Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. They said he declined to respond to their calls. He refused to attend to them. He literally snubbed them completely. It was like he did not want any form of conversation. Now, Pandev said that they had expected that the president, even if in that announcement to them, he did not implicate Wike, that maybe silently, since they are friends, he would call him and say, Wike, you need to step aside. You need to stop interfering. Let Fubara do what he needs to do. But that the next thing they saw was a state of emergency being declared. So to them, they concluded that this was deliberate. This also had the hand of Wike too as well, and they called it a political backstab.
Well, the reality is, let me start with what Wike, the statement he read from Wike. I think he was having a fundamental error. He was mistaking rulership for leadership. Most of the characters who are the helm of our affairs, political affairs, are not leaders.
Okay.
Leaders leads with the consent of the people, but the ruler forces his way down. When you get into an office by rigging the elections, you are not a leader. You are a ruler or a dictator. So most of these characters, even up to the Mr. President, who I keep on saying he never won the elections.
Are you sure? He was voted for.
No, that is my.
So are you saying that votes did not count?
No, the votes did not count. But I'm just trying to explain. That's
for you. That's your perception.
Mr. President Tinubu did not win an election, so he can't call himself a leader. That you're occupying a public office, an elected public office, does not automatically make you a leader. We have a lot of rascals who are in these offices. Somebody who shouldn't be in the Senate is the Senate president. Will you call him a leader? Somebody who did not win elections is a governor. Will you call him a leader? These guys are rulers. Now, when you take that into context, then you're now prepared for whatever comes forward. For Mr. Wike to call himself a leader, he's a joker actually. When you check his antecedents, yes, he's been a governor, he's been a local government chairman. But when you ask, how was all these offices attained? Was it by the votes count, or did you rig your way into the place by violence? And you see how he moves around. Somebody moves around with a platoon of soldiers. Is that a leader? We know how leaders move. Go and see the president of Burkina Faso or Mali, how they move around with their people. Those are leaders. So they shouldn't deceive Nigerians about leadership. We're talking of rulers. Now, when we agree that they are rulers, we now go to the next step. The issue of coming to beg, Mr. President, is ludicrous. You don't beg in office. You don't beg if you want to serve. Or you only go there to beg if you want to be part of the stealing process. If you know you are ruling, or if you know you are leading, and you are doing what the people want or what they prefer,
yes.
The basis of your authority is the people. You don't go and beg anybody. I mean, so the issue of begging the president is neither here nor there. Mr. President, if there was a constitutional democracy, if there was rule of law, the people that the governor of Rivers State should be begging or should be relating with is the people of Rivers State. Mr. President, for goodness sake, has to address issues of security, of financial matters at federal level. not trying to disturb governance at state level.
Well, in reaction to what Wike is saying, the minister for has come out, Mohammed Idris, right? That's the Minister of Information and National Orientation, has come out to say that the president imposed a state of emergency so that there will be no collapse of governance in the state, but that the update, this is a very recent update, is the fact that that state of emergency will be lifted up very soon. In fact, the minister disclosed with one of the president's newspaper, that's the Nation newspaper, that was where he had that interview. He stated that the president is committed to reinstating democratic structures in the state. And so the minister said, I'm quoting him, as soon as he assesses that sanity has returned to Rivers State, he will ensure the restoration of all democratic structures in that state. He emphasized that the president has no ulterior motives regarding the state's governance and dismissed speculations of a political takeover. That's what he said. He said the way democracy is designed in this country is that the three arms of government must work together and one will be checking the other, and that was lacking in Rivers State. That's what he said. So he says we cannot have just the executive functioning and say we have a functional democracy. We didn't have that, and therefore the president had to act. So as it stands, and like the House had said, there's a possibility that that state of emergency rule will be lifted up before 6 months elapses. So with what the Minister of Orientation is saying, don't you think that there's a legal purview to his explanation as to the state of emergency being enacted?
Let me lift from the minister's comment.
Okay.
Said a functional democracy must have the three arms of government working together and checking themselves.
Yes.
At the federal level, do we have the three arms of government checking themselves? Does the rubber stamp Senate and House, headed by rubber stamp stooges of the president, what have they done to check the president? What has the judiciary, headed by Kekereku, who gives the president whatever judgment he wants, what have they done to check the executive? So the reality is he's trying to remove the speck in Rivers State, while the log in the central is still there. So, I mean, they shouldn't deceive Nigerians, for goodness sake. There was absolutely no reason for the government, for the Mr. Tinubu, to impose state of emergency in Rivers State, except for totally selfish reasons. And I told you, I gave the reasons initially. There is a belief that Rivers State has served as a source of cheap funds to manipulate the electoral process. So simply, what you can deduce from Mr. Tinubu's influence or taking over Rivers State is to take over the purse. And now to have the governor at the situation whereby he now comes to beg. To beg for what?
No, this is Wike saying for national integration and let us everyone put personal interest
Wike
aside.
should continue drinking his 40-year-old whiskey, for goodness sake, and not tell us about national integration. What nonsense is he talking about? I mean, he should not take Nigerians for a ride. What does he understand about national integration? Somebody else was the governor before Wike came. And Wike cut off that person and ruled the state as he liked. Now, he doesn't want to give Mr. Fubara a chance to rule. And he's talking about national integration. In fact, the people I blame in such instances are those journalists who are in that position. They should be able to talk to those elected officers like Wike, tell them to stop talking crap, bring instances. But unfortunately, we have a situation in Nigeria whereby the journalists are expecting brown envelopes, and so they're not even able to give a feedback, instantaneous feedback.
Well, it's not all journalists.
Agreed.
Some of them are very categorical.
Yes.
You saw the presidential chat last year when some intricate questions were being asked, and he skirted around it. So in that situation on a public forum, when you're asking a pungent question and the person is either skirting around it or becoming attacking, but the thing is, you've asked a question and they have to apply decorum. So it doesn't seem as if they came there to cause some kind of social media attention.
I agree, but back to Wike's issue. Wike has no business talking to Nigerians about national unity or integration because he's a minus. He's a pull-down factor. Look at his utterances. Such a man should not be in a position to even be listened to. So when you quote what he said, to me, it's a bit strange.
All right. Justice Kekereku, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, took a critical look at the practice of law in the country, and she lamented the downturn in adherence to ethical principles in the legal profession. She noted with regrets that strict adherence to ethical principles in the legal profession was not only dwindling, but facing serious challenges. She spoke at a public presentation of the report of directions of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, which was held at the Body of Benches complex in Abuja, which brought to the fore on how Nigerians perceive the judiciary. Number one, the situation in River State, before it appended to this point, the court were giving conflicting judgments. Today, they will say the 27 lawmakers should not parade themselves as lawmakers. Tomorrow, they will tell us that their seat has been declared vacant. Next, tomorrow, they will tell us elections should be conducted. Another appeal will stop it. So these conflicting court orders were happening before Justice Kekereokun was sworn in. When she was sworn in, she set up a panel to look into the conflicting judgments that has further escalated the political tension in River State. 2 or 3 judges were sacked out of it because they realized from their investigations that some things were not working fine. Now she coming out to say this, and what we've seen with our legal practitioners, specifically with the one that happened with Natasha Akpoti, where the court said any form of petition whatsoever should not be received. Later, they lifted it. Another one said the National Assembly, should not make any judgment concerning that until there is an order. The House went ahead, imposed a sanction on her, and then, later they said whatever sanction that the House had done was approved. So when you have instances like this, why is the justice not making references to these cases if they want to be as objective and sincere as possible?
Well, we should realize that our judges are Nigerians and they exist in the Nigerian society, so that they are not immune from the reality of Nigeria. In times past, when we had erudite jurists in the presence of such as Fatai Williams, Oputa, who was a former
yes,
these were erudite jurists whose comments, who lived the law. I mean, you'll appreciate their presence as judges. But nowadays, what do we have? I mean, we have characters who get onto the bench from dubious processes. You have exams are taken and the last becomes the judge. I mean, qualifying exams, and the person who scores last is actually nominated to become a judge. You have girlfriends.
You're making reference to Imo State.
No, I'm generally.
Okay.
You have girlfriends of judicial officers, daughters, sons. In fact, I am one of Odinkalo once said it was now a sexually transmitted appointments that get into the judiciary. So that is why we are where we are. And even the lady who is saying this, Kekereku, if Nigerians realize that this was the judge who presided over the judgment that made, in Imo State, made the man who came forth
to become first,
to become the governor of the state. That is the lady who is now the CJN, talking of ethics. So it's like they think we forget things. Not too long ago, in fact, a few days ago, the Justice of the Supreme Court, who presided over the River State judgment, was seen with the same Wike in Calabar for Wike's honorary degree. I mean, when you see these kind of things, you now wonder, what is she talking about ethics? I mean, is it just to talk for talking's sake? We need to cleanse our judiciary.
What is the NBA doing about it? Because I felt like, thank God, you're in the right position to respond to that. In all of this brouhaha and imbroglio and outcry from every quarter, all and sundry, I was expecting the NBA to have said something, either through a press conference, organize something, and tell us categorically, breaking down the constitution, the vacuum, the porosity that was witnessed in the conduct of that state of emergency, and tell us their stand. Why have they been quiet?
Well, I mean, the same answer I gave for the judiciary. The NBA presidency and the executive don't live in abstract. They're Nigerians.
In other words, they can't stand firm and say the truth.
Those who can stand firm, if you understand how much it costs to run an NBA election, it costs hundreds of millions. And in most cases, some of these characters are sponsored. So when they get there, what do? They just try to bid their time, maybe hoping that they'll become appointed attorney general somewhere.
They say a good name is better than riches.
Well, that was for those who have a strong family background. But what you see now in this case, you have Nigerians who just, for peanuts, they can sell even their mother's grapes. They can sell it. So the NBA, as you asked, is, how will I put it? They have become, it has become like an image of its past. It's no longer the NBA we used to know, when people like Akabarashanu or this other son were there as leaders, and they led by example. Nowadays, you have for characters who want to live for the name that they were NBA president, but what are the legacies you leave behind? And the ones that try to actually move the bar forward, like the immediate past president of the bar, you see him being castigated up and down, and such characters will never get to the land of sand, because these things it's organized. It's an organized scam. And the judiciary, the bar, the Nigerian society. So the grassroots, the people are the ones that should rise up and say enough is enough. That's what happens in other
What
societies.
people who have been mentally padlocked, psychologically chainsawed, which people?
Well, what happens in other countries, in other climes, is that when the people feel enough is enough, they react. Because it has gone to that stage. The leadership of either the bar, the professional bodies are already made. So the quest to change the system must come from those who are oppressed, those who feel that they need to change the system. And that's what happens. Look at what's going on in Turkey. Presently, the people are on the streets saying enough is enough.
But you saw what happened the last
Yes.
time the people came to the streets. They slammed reasonable charges on them.
They will.
Some of them were shot. A
Yes.
lot of people died. People at this point feel that they can no longer die for this country because at the end of the day, what did they die for? Let me give you an instance. The End SARS protest of October 2020.
Yes.
What has happened?
But you're not dying for the country, you're dying for yourself. That is reality. You are dying. I mean, when you say you can't die for I agreed. But you are dying for yourself because when you are as a parent, you stay and your children, you can't feed them. Not that you're not working hard. You're working hard. You went to school. You are working, but you simply cannot feed your kids. So you're not dying for them. You're dying for yourself. That is what is happening in Turkey. I'm talking of the one that is contemporaneous.
Yes.
It's going on now. People are out there, you professionals, everybody is saying, Mr. Erdogan, enough is enough. So we can't keep on saying this kind of crap in Nigeria.
But you can say that in a country that listens to its people.
Well,
For example, this Raye lady that set up the 30 days rant challenge, and where she was talking about the fact that even the monies that are meant to be collected, which is 77,000 naira, has not yet been implemented. And you would see that somehow, because that generated quite the conversation, the federal government has released the first tranche of that newly implemented NYSC core salary or stipend, 77,000 naira. Okay, so let's just say that that had already been implemented. The president had already said it would happen. But they said there were a lot of backlogs and there were bureaucratic situations involved in it. That's what he said.
Yes.
Now, that's why I'm asking this question. In all of this, there's always bureaucracy at play from every level. Let me give you an instance. I'm going to give you... okay. All right.
You mentioned a Raye who came out and risked all
Yeah.
and said enough is enough.
Well,
And she cried and things changed. She risked her life. She risked her service. She should be penalized. But when she came out and said enough is enough and mentioned these issues, now you are seeing changes. Every youth couple all over the country is now benefiting from that change.
they said it got
That
credit
somebody
alerts.
came out and risked herself. So that's how change occurs. If you are not ready to change, to risk yourself, nothing will happen. Because those guys at the top of affairs, Mr. Tinubu will always like to move in a 100-car convoy. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to extend the tenure of president to longer time. So it is when people are saying enough is enough. Good that you mentioned this, right, girl? And that is the same thing in every other sector. If, for instance, we see how they extort from transporters.
Yes.
If a transporter says, I am not paying this today, enough is enough. He may be brutalized, but at the end of the day, he gathers the momentum and that will put a stop to that scam on that area. So Nigerians have to decide, enough is enough. That's how we move on.
Okay, well, for example, the reason why I brought up Raya is the fact that the NYC man, that is the Minister of Youth Development, that is Ayodele Olawande, who was assuring Nigerians in the interview that the backlog of payments would have been cleared by the end of March. He also disclosed that the disbursement of the new allowance was stalled with the government citing budgetary constraints and bureaucratic delays. It's always like that in that parastatal. All the persons that will have to sign, the delay on what needs to be added or what not. And this delay is usually consistent. When it comes to projects, monies for projects, when it comes to channeling funds, it's always like that. Why?
It is so because we've not implemented our laws. It is so because we don't realize, for instance, let me give you an example. The budget is a law. And when you don't comply with the law, there are criminal consequences.
Okay.
But nobody has been penalized for not implementing the budget. So you cannot tell me that the buck stops on the table of the president and his ministers.
Because the president has approved that allowance months ago.
No.
And the disbursement was contingent on the inclusion of budgetary allocations, which had not been put in place at the time of the announcement.
No, he can't escape by saying he's approved it.
That's what he said. The president had approved it months ago.
Look, we should tell them enough is enough. When he's lying, those kind of lies, enough is enough. When the president wants to travel, does his ESTA code, is it delayed?
No.
Good. When he wants to buy a new aircraft, is the ESTA code, is the payment delayed? No. When it suits his purpose, it's not delayed. But when it suits the purpose of Nigerians, it's delayed. So they should not tell us that crap. I mean, we should tell him enough is enough. You can't tell us Mr. President is a saint. He has approved blah, 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 and it's now the issue of implementation. If the minister makes the civil servants under him realize that this is what it's a presidential directive, no civil servant will want to go against the minister.
Interesting.
But the fact is this: they realize that what the minister even said in this press release is just for talking sake. At the bottom of the day, they still know that nothing will happen. And they continue with doing what they're doing. So he shouldn't tell us that if Mr. President approves, we don't see approval. What we are saying is implementation. So they can do whatever they want to do in approval. What have you implemented? And if implementation is zero, that means whatever is approved is hogwash.
Well, Barrister Eze Oluche, let's look at the imbroglio that occurred yesterday at the Senate Ethics Committee between Senator Nwabonyi, who represents Ebonyi, and former Education Minister Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. We know who Dr. Obi is. And I and you were speaking behind the scenes before we came on air, and we talked about Senator Nwabonyi's expletives on her, which a couple of persons felt were so derogatory. A couple of persons had called him a loud, his thuggery attitude. This is the kind of person representing us in the Senate. The Senate has validated precisely through his actions all that Natasha Akpoti was accusing them of. And then you said something that, Esther, if it were me, I may have done worse, because she said, shut up.
Yes.
That she was not supposed to say so, that there are implications if he did not react the way he did. Can you kindly explain that?
Well, I watched the video.
Yes.
And what led to the response from the Senate. Mr. Obi Ezekwesili had clearly told him to shut up, and he would say, shut him up. Now, this is a senator. This is in the Senate building, for goodness sake.
Okay.
And you're telling the senator to shut up. If the senator had kept quiet and gone back to his village, he will be seen as a half human. So it was natural for him to react. But now the issue was his reaction commensurate? Because Obi Ezekwesili erred seriously
in saying shut up.
Yes, in trying to tell off the man, the senator. I mean, she erred. You don't, because of you now err, you provoke a man, and then you now say this nonsense. I mean, some women even phrase this issue of gender provocation when it suits them.
But Obi Ezekwesili said he kept on interrupting while they were talking.
Good. Interrupting, there are decent ways. She's not a dunce. She's learned. There are ways of talking on or telling somebody to keep quiet. But when you tell him to bluntly shut up, he represents people in Ebonyi State, for goodness sake. You are telling his entire constituency to shut up. People there will say, man, what did you do? Why did you not react? And she was lucky. Why I say she was lucky is this. This was in the Senate chambers.
Okay.
If she had gotten one or two slaps, then nothing would have happened.
Really?
It is not an assault. It is right there in the Senate.
Because of the statement she made, if you had slapped her, nothing would have happened.
What I'm saying, in the Senate, the senators, the members of the House have immunity from what happens in the chambers.
Oh.
So nothing would have happened. So she got off a bit easily. Now, what I want to also point out is this. Obi Ezekwesili is one of those characters who goes out of her way to try to seek popularity, and then what was her business in that house?
She was there as a witness, yes. To ensure the transparent process of the Senate Ethics Committee while they were looking into the Natasha Akpoti case.
That does not give her the temerity, the audacity to tell a senator to shut up. But on the same vein, the senator could have. You saw he was actually provoked.
Okay, yes,
and
he was.
He could have said one or two things and kept quiet. And
he said on the social stratification that he's higher than her. So
no, I mean
that was
all those
his reaction.
All those was like gutter language. I mean, there were things he should have said, expressed his annoyance, and kept quiet
without going that low.
Yeah, because he was now talking, and people had to try to restrain him.
Yes,
that was not proper. Actually, one slap would have been better than all that noise was made. Yes, because I'm being myself. I mean, I'm being very frank. One slap on it, because you don't tell a man shut up. What the people in his constituency will be looking at, what was his reaction? I mean, even as a man, what would be your reaction? Or as a human being?
Are you looking at this from a traditional standpoint?
No, even as a woman, you are told to shut up by another woman. And you really do shut up. Even your children will ask you, Mama, what happened?
He could have reacted. He could have said, no, you don't tell me to shut up. That's wrong of you. Beautiful. That's improper.
Beautiful.
I mean, there's a classy way to respond.
I agree. But both of them, they had degenerated use of language, shut up. So it provoked an equal reaction.
No, immediately she says, shut up. And I said, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Well, and then she called him a scoundrel, and then the words started flying up and down.
To me, generally, you keep on wondering if we had better quality of characters as leaders, maybe we wouldn't have that incident. But mind you, everybody is subject to being provoked. and then our response to provocation it differs.
So you're saying that if he had become physical, that he has immunity and he wouldn't go to jail?
Nothing will happen.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure you have.
So if Obieze question is to sue him for physical assault, he wouldn't go to jail?
She wouldn't even, I mean, in the National Assembly,
yeah,
in the First Republic, the Second Republic rather, a senator pulled a gun on another senator and nothing happened because they have immunity from actions they take in the confines of the building.
That's wrong.
And that includes...
That's very wrong.
No, there's a reason for that.
What's the reason?
No, that includes even when they do fist off, when they fight, when
yes,
they
which we've seen on several occasions.
Nothing will happen, and it's global. Even in the British Parliament, the US, they do these things and nothing happens. The reason is this: they need to express themselves freely. Hopefully, they don't degenerate to the fighting, but fighting amongst members of the House, it depends on what the issues are. But the issues of this lady is not sufficient to degenerate into that kind of language. So, Obieze Ekwesili erred seriously by telling the senator to shut up in the Senate building. And then, yes, his response was a bit excessive, but he had to respond.
Well, yes. Barrister Esa Eluche, no matter the circumstance, a man should never, ever, for whatever reason, hit a woman.
That is your mistake. When a woman hits a man, she says a man should not hit him. That is absolute crap. I mean,
so you believe that there should be a quid pro quo?
Look, you see, that is what...
I'm not justifying that any woman should insult a man. I'm just saying.
You see, this Me Too movement, this almost gender whatever issue, is neither here nor there. If people forget that gender, male gender, female gender, we're all gender. It's not only women who are gender.
We're all gender.
Yes, everybody is a gender. Has a gender he ascribes to. So when people say a woman slaps you, you keep quiet. Come on, who says that? That is the mess the Democrats were trying to put America into shortly before Trump is now coming to salvage them. You don't say a woman slaps you and you keep quiet. If she was well brought up, she wouldn't have told the senator to shut up in the first instance. And having used those words, the senator could have replied, but should not have gone onwards to allow himself to be restrained.
Well, Barrister, two wrongs cannot make a right.
I am not saying
so I'm just saying that if any man finds themselves in a compromising situation where, for example, the woman is actually doing too much. I know that women, if they cannot physically hurt you, they will be verbal. They will become verbal towards you.
Don't dehumanize women. We are created equal. They also have the same strength, the same capacity. There are some women who can beat up men. Men also suffer gender violence.
Obviously, we know that.
So if you know that, then why will you now say when a woman does this, your leg?
Well, I'm just saying that it is you don't raise your hand at a woman. It's wrong, regardless of the circumstance.
If she raises your hand at you, it's okay.
No, it's understandable that it's self-defense if you react. Self-defense if you react. If she does raise a hand at you first, if you react, but the gentlemanly thing to do
is to be a weakling.
No, it doesn't make you a weakling. It's to walk out, so you don't do something that you regret later. I'm just saying.
Brought up women don't hit men.
Yes,
true. Brought up women don't tell a man to shut up.
I'm just saying there are instances that issues like this happen.
Well brought up women don't slap men, don't hit men,
don't insult women. Don't insult men.
So when a woman does that in public, that means she's not well brought up, and she has provoked a response. Now, I'm saying the response by the senator was excessive, but he had to respond there. But did he respond? Was it commensurate? He went too far because he now allowed himself, people were coming to restrain him. This issue of when a woman slap you, don't slap her, that has spoiled societies. We can't allow that. Human beings are equal. We should give equal respect. When a woman commits a crime, they don't want equality in the prison population. They want equality in National Assembly. I mean, have you checked of that?
Okay.
Women only want equality where it suits. I mean, and it's always the women who are educated that want that kind of equality. They want equality in National Assembly. They want equality in presidency and governorship. They don't want equality in the prison yard. When they also steal, they even steal more.
Barrister, as a couple of persons who say you are as candid as it comes.
No, but that is it.
But I would encourage you, please, if you have a dispute with a male gender or female, please avoid violence.
And avoid
if you know you don't have the physical capacity to defend yourself, do not hurl insults.
Even if you have the capacity, don't.
Well, that's do not hurl insults. Like what Barrister is saying, the man is also a human being. He has emotions, and we're traditional people, right? You don't talk to men, especially titled men, in a certain way, or even men in general. No, well, we have a tradition in our culture, you know. But in that regard, but a situation where it's the other way, well, we'll just say that let's not allow situations that devolve to a point where it becomes physical. Nobody wants that. But
right.
women, try and learn to defend yourself when you find yourself in instances like that. I don't know how you want to do it, but try to do so. And for the men, please do not evoke or provoke such a situation. It's important for us to always maintain decency wherever we are, especially in such a public forum, because his attitude generalized the attitude of the senators in the House.
No,
you don't think so?
I don't
Oh,
agree
that
with
was how Nigerians perceived the whole thing yesterday.
She's a show woman. That is what she went to achieve. That she wanted to make it be as if that is how women. and the senator fell for that trap.
Okay.
Yes, that's the reality.
All right. Thank you very much for that explanation. Now, let's look at the situation. In that reaction, Natasha had to apologize to Ezekwesili for having to go through that. Now, she had explained what happened. Senator Nwabonyi had also explained things from his own perspective. And she's come out to say, I am sorry you had to go through this. Does this stipulate what she had earlier said, that the House is like a court and this is what the women go through?
I wouldn't be surprised if she did what she did in league with Obi Ezekwesili. I mean, set up a platform. I mean, for me, it even derogates from her case. The entire Obi Ezekwesili scenario. It makes it look as if these things are scripted. And it's unfortunate. I mean, what is she apologizing for? Was she the person that abused the senator? I mean,
she's apologizing to Obi.
She's demeaning the former erstwhile high pedestal her matter rested on, because trying to use this to further her case is messy. It now even makes some of us who supported her cause to begin to wonder what is really going on here. Are you trying to portray men as violent, as when we actually know what transpired? So she did not do herself any good by trying to jump into that Obi Ezekwesili story.
Let me paint a scenario to you.
Yes.
What if it was a president's wife? This current president in that seat. I'm just wait. Let's wait. Barrister, wait. We'll go back. But I just want to ask: do you think Senator Nwabonyi would have spoken like that?
Anybody? I mean, even the president's wife. Previously, she had been engaged in fist-cuffs.
Yes, but then she was not the president's wife.
But yeah, if not for her security, she may still be engaged in fist-cuffs when the time comes. I mean, it's natural reactions.
All right. Finally, let's look at what what's his name? Nyesom Wike said, that he's going to do anything possible to ensure that Atiku does not win the 2027 elections. You know that Atiku, I told you that Atiku was speaking via an interview when they asked him about how he came about the VP slot, and he said the first person was Okowa, second was Nyesom Wike, and the third person I think was somebody from Akwa Ibom, Udom Emmanuel. So he's vowing to ensure that the PDP's 2023 presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar will fail in any future attempt to become this country's president. We can make this statement through his media aide, Larry Olayinka. He said that about his remarks concerning the coalition coming together, that if, for example, it happens to be that Atiku is chosen in this coalition for whatever reason, he will topple it. He'll break it down and it will not work. You believe that Wike can actually pull that?
Wike is talking like a child. These are infantile comments. I mean, and this is one of those things you now wonder whether he took his favorite 40-year-old whiskey before making such comments. Because he forgets he's human.
Okay.
There have been instances of people talking in studios and they slump and die. Which means I myself can even slump and die here.
Okay.
So Wike himself, who is talking this, is he going to be alive by the 2027? Is he a god? And he forgets his origin. Not too long ago, we knew when he was begging the wife of Goodluck Jonathan, Patience, to take him to Odelito and make him governor. I mean, to give him some kind of credibility. So this is the character now who is telling us, who is trying to punch above his weight level. I mean, but that's politics. That's the use. Anything goes in politics. Anybody can talk whatever crap he wants to talk. But Wike making such comments is just infantile, and then it's unfortunate. And it's not even worth responding to. What will be, will be. God will decide who will rule Nigeria at the appropriate time. But it's not up to Wike to... Wike doesn't know he's been used, actually.
You think so?
Wike's relevance in today's Nigeria is because it's at the pleasure of Bola Tinubu.
Okay.
Bola Tinubu has made him minister of the FCT. The day Bola Tinubu wakes up and decides to sack Wike, he's finished. Because not only will he only sack him, the EFCC will pick him up and dump him somewhere. And that is the end of Mr. Wike. So when a man like that just keeps on talking, what you are looking at is what is beating the drums for him. The person beating the drum for him is the presidency. And this presidency who is beating this drum for you cannot even keep you alive if God says you are going to go today. So when he keeps on talking about 2027, you wonder, is he matured?
Okay.
Does he understand what life is? That at any stage you are, whether you are king or you are the gate man, you are a plebeian or a multi-billionaire, you can go at any time. And I wouldn't be surprised if you look at the past videos of Mr. Wike, the kind of abuses he abused Bola Tinubu, he abused APC. So if that man is still serving and licking the ass of the presidency, who cares? Are you not sure if Atiku becomes president, the same Wike will not go and beg him and become something in Atiku's government? So such comments by Wike should not even be discussed in a public forum. It amounts to absolute nonsense. You don't know whether he took 40-year-old whiskey before he made those comments. No, he told us he drinks 40-year-old whiskey.
Well, it's possible that I think the president should be smart with his relationship with Wike, because I'm sure his close aides would have spoken to him about the kind of person Wike is. So you treat him with a long spoon, whatever objective
no,
he
let
needs.
me tell you.
Okay.
Wike is not understanding. He doesn't learn from history. So he's going to repeat history.
Okay.
He should go and ask somebody like Rotimi Amechi, who thought with support for Buhari, he will be made the next president and all that stuff. Where is Rotimi Amechi now? He was dumped like a piece of trash. That is what will happen to Wike. By the time Mr. Bola Tinubu has used him sufficiently, he would trash. And Wike is not a big deal to trash because he has no structure even in his hometown. So when the time comes, what happened to Wike, what happened to Rotimi Amechi is bound to happen to Wike. If he lives long enough, he will see that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is whom we have here, Barrister Eze Ewiche. He is as blunt as possible. You may not align with his line of thoughts, but he's a straight shooter. He doesn't try to miss ways. He doesn't mince words. If you're even speaking with him on a one-on-one, he speaks more candid than this. I'm sure it's because we're on air. He had to constrain himself. So yes, Barrister Eze Ewiche is right here in the studio. So any one of you who have questions to ask based on this conversations we've had, or the topics we talked about, obviously it's time for us to get your reaction. The number to call is 08036929933, 08036929933. Please, we're going to do it for 60 seconds. Any call that comes in 60 seconds, I want to accommodate as many calls as possible and read out messages on WhatsApp and on YouTube. So please kindly make sure that your thoughts are well coordinated and put together when you call, and please no derogatory comments. Please do not insult. Make your point as best as possible without being derogatory. Remember, we're very intelligent individuals. We're not louds, okay, and we don't display brutish behavior like some persons in the National Assembly. 08036929933, 08036929933. That's the number to call, and the WhatsApp number is 08171756338. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Evening Rush. What's your name?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name?
My name is Boyeson, and I'm calling from Afromedia.
From Afromedia. All right, sir, please go ahead.
Yes. At least the one I've heard from the barrister so far, I think he has spoken my mind. He has spoken my mind. Because I've said it severally on different fora, that it's only PDP that allowed Wike to just be, he's just been misbehaving. And the PDP failed to call him to order. Even up till now, Wike is still waxing stronger. If they had tamed him for a very long time, I don't think all the things going on wouldn't have come at all. So,
all right. Thank you.
The PDP should do the needful.
Okay.
And curtail Wike's excesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, the country is moving beyond the PDP now. There are several coalitions being arranged, and then most likely the PDP may not be the platform for the opposition at the next elections.
All right. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. My name is Austin from Akuta Road.
All right, Mr. Austin. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Okay. I want just to contribute about Obi Ezekwesili and Senator Mweboy.
Okay.
Obi Ezekwesili, what she wants is what she gets.
Okay.
That is what he's come there for. Even though before the incident happened, if you watch her and watch the lady, beside him. Two of them came there for. If you look at their face, they came there for trouble. They didn't come for what people think they came there for. That is one. He has a man in the house. Even though if my mother tell me in public to shut up, I can only allow her because it's my mother that carry me 9 months. My wife doesn't have any right to tell me in public to shut up. If my wife tell me in public to shut up, I will push her. The lady went too far. She has a husband. If her husband is still alive, she has a husband. She has a son. I think she should know how to respect man. Biblically, the Bible said that woman should respect man. Abraham's wife called respect the husband to the call. So, and after she reading Bible, after reading the Bible finish, preaching finish, he come back to a national television in public and tell a matured man, a father, to shut up his mouth. Are you feeding? Is she feeding the man? Please, let's call a truth, and let's call a lie. Let's be sincere, because in the afternoon, in 12 o'clock news, you mentioned something like that.
I wasn't here at 12 o'clock. I wasn't here at 12 o'clock.
Hello, I'm telling you.
I wasn't here at 12 o'clock. I was not the one who read the news at 12, please.
Okay, somebody that read the news mentioned it, and
right.
the speaker then also tell that person that the woman was wrong. And
Right.
if I still repeating it again, trying to put word into the mouth, into your visitor's mouth.
Who's
Please, the woman is wrong.
All right, thank you very much for calling. All right, I remember I said 60 seconds, which is a minute. So please, let's take that so we can accommodate as many calls as possible. Hello, good evening. How are you? Oh, hold on. Hello, good evening. How are you? I'm so sorry for keeping you. I didn't want the call to go off. Hello?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, hello.
Tony, good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm good. And you?
I am fine, sir. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Please go ahead.
Barrister, it's always good to see you because you normally hear your voice blunt during the news analysis.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's good. But there is a place you made a mistake, Barrister.
Okay, sir.
I always enjoy listening to you. But where you made a mistake is, please, can anybody go back and listen to that Senate committee on whatever they are committing on? And listen when the barrister representing the Senator Natasha was trying to say something, and even Obi was raising hand this man keep on interrupting them. Let's be honest. I listened to Mr. Anosike during the news in the afternoon, and Mr. Anosike was saying, in as much as the word that was used what might not be correct, but that man has been interrupting them. I just watched it on 2 or 3 places now, and that man continued to interrupt them. And let us be honest. Anybody, I just listened to somebody who just say, even if the wife tells him
that
to
he
shut
will
up,
push her.
If that man continues to do something stupid, the wife will tell him to shut up.
Well,
that's the truth. Okay. I live in the Western world. There is a way. Most of us who are living, knows how to respect our women. Yeah. When some of them back in Nigeria, some of them, the way they talk, and they will be, a woman is not an object.
Exactly.
And when you say that I'm the one marrying you, you are not the one married. 2 of you are marrying each other because you exchange the same ring.
All right, Tony Chukwudi, thank you so much. Okay.
And Esther, there is another thing that I didn't hear you talk about today. The comment of Asari Dokubo.
I talked about it during the world news at 6 now. Didn't you listen?
Yeah, on this
it was very extensive. Very extensive.
Why is it? Yeah, why? I know that barrister
Fred Nzako.
Fred Nzako said that he doesn't want to say anything because he didn't mention any name. But that issue of this man, this is not the first time this man is admitting in what is going on in the Southeast. What is our governors doing? What is our governors doing? If what he's saying is true, or whether he's bragging about it, nobody knows.
No, in this case, he's coming out to talk that they want to implicate him. Meanwhile, there is an agreement. It is a contract that the federal government gave to him to protect, to help or assist them in what they were doing there.
Any contract has a document, isn't it? And maybe he signed it. He should present it to them if anything happens.
Thank you, Tony Chukwudi. Thank you for calling. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
My name is...
Can you speak louder, please? I beg. Your voice is low.
Okay.
No. Please kindly call back 08036929933. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello,
good evening, Esther Wachiku.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
Yes, I'm giving to the barrister today from Abuja.
All right, Chike. Well done. Go ahead, please.
Yes. If there's any way the barrister will give me his contact, I like him. I've been following him for a long time. So I want him to be my family lawyer, no matter how much it costs. I'll pay.
All right.
So if there is any way you can help me to do that, fine.
All right. Send a message on WhatsApp.
Okay. But secondly, you see, can you hear me?
Go ahead, sir. You have 60 seconds.
Yes, that barrister, barrister Onyeka, that's what we call him.
Barrister who?
He's a political talk.
Barrister Onyeka? There is no Barrister Onyeka, sir.
No, I have evidence to show to you. If you want me to do that to you, I will tell you. This guy is a very
Okay. Was it Barrister Onyeka? Are you talking of the legal practitioner representing?
Onyeka is a violent, arrogant, political talk that has been working with Devil Mai for a long time.
A long time. Okay.
So
He's a senator.
That character he possesses is always his character. So he's somebody I know personally.
Can you see?
He's even owing me money. He's owing me about 800,000. He borrowed money from me and refused to pay.
You see now. All right. Thank you very much for calling. All right. You see, because that attitude was too immediate. Some people can look quiet in the face, but they're terrible people, especially towards women. The agitation towards women is like they dislike women at any point in time. The reaction is always so.
No, he knows him personally, but we're talking about based on what we saw.
Well, but he said he knows him personally. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Fine. Good evening, brother.
Good evening. What's your name, sir?
You see, sometimes every man.
What's your name? What is your name, sir?
My name is Newi.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
Man and woman is human being. One fresh. So sometimes if we begin to mess up because of we are the head of family or we are men, sometimes when you play the ball more than go, they will tell you this is more than go. That shut up. I don't understand it as an abuse. Just close your mouth. I hear what I'm saying. So let him manage that.
All right.
That one good.
Okay.
The other side of it at Rivers, our president Bola Tinubu suppose tell Wike to remove his hand from Rivers State because he has do his own on Rivers State finish. Let him allow the young man to do his own. Or, according to him, I bought a ticket for this, I bought that, this election. Then let them give it to the real winner of that state. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening, Esther.
Yes, good evening, sir. I had to pick your call so it doesn't drop. What's your name, please?
This Kelechi from Oshodi. I greet the barrister.
How are you, sir?
You know, we just normally hear his voice during what news at 12. Today I saw him physically on YouTube.
He's been here. I think you were here last week. Yes, he was here last week. Or 2 weeks ago. All right.
So I just want to talk about Nyesom Wike.
Okay.
You know, in Nigeria, all the people that is in power will just talk rubbish.
Hello?
Because, can you hear me?
Please put your mouth on your speaker so we can hear you well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
So I say people in power will just talk rubbish. They don't know tomorrow because, Wike say that he will make sure that Atiku, is he a chairman? Those characters, all of them are behaving. People in power will just talk anyhow. Even if a citizen want to react, we say, oh, don't say this, don't say the derogatory word. What is all this saying? Is there an chairman that is going to rig election? See, I get angry when I hear all this kind of statement. Thank you.
Please channel
all right.
Let us channel anger towards positive means. I mean, so that we can congregate and say enough.
Enough is enough. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
This is Sandy calling from Oba.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, barrister, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please, I want to just make a little comment on your speeches of what you are saying concerning
Concerning who?
State and
Hello. You left your radio on now. Stay away from it or turn it off completely.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Now, what I want to say is the barrister said I look at the judiciary
Okay.
as the hope of the common man as the situation lies in Nigeria today. But based on what barrister is telling us now that let somebody rise up one that say enough is enough.
Wahala. Sorry, Bele. Okay, please call back. Hello, good evening. Zara Nadi, how are you?
Yeah, good evening, Nyesom Wike.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine. Please go ahead. You have 60
I
seconds.
greet my brother, this Barrister SFC.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Okay, Nyesom Wike.
Sir?
On this thing is this Fubara
Yes.
that even last time this man went to church and people were just asking him questions. He was saying, President. I said, where did this man come from?
Mm.
If Fubara mistakenly go to Abuja for this thing, that is the end. I just pray for everybody to just abandon, let that man be. Let him not go to Abuja and disgrace himself. That's one. And then this guy with this boy.
Senator Weboy.
And this thing. Yeah, exactly. Well, I have listened to everybody, but that man, and I want to remember that this man did not just go there to represent his people, not Abio. If I'm I believe this man will be either my mate or may not senior me, maybe would give me like 2-3 years or 4 years if I'm not mistaken. If I went there like all this thing, this man have been going to channels, different stations, defending Abio. Is it what this guy went for? Today there was this thing I saw when this guy was saying in this thing that they contracted him to come and killing in Imo State and this thing. This man was there. He did not even raise alarm. What is people going through? Just from station to station to defend defending Abio. You see, Abio going to do here for his people. If I'm the one in the position of Abio, I want to manifest him. Now, not that you know, madman. The madman is just having half shame. If somebody is brothers. Just give him a sign. Just like when the machine told on, give him a sign. He was there. Give him a sign. He said, my dear, shut up your mouth. As this thing, maybe as a sister. Because may not do to any other tribe just because of his brother. My dear, shut up a bit so that people will talk. This man vomits everything he has in this thing. Like if he's targeting that woman. And people see that man. I want if I'm listening, I'll just say disown him. If I remember, I'll just disown him.
Thank you very much, Zara Nadia. Right? Thank you. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name?
Your name is mine.
Hello, sir.
Your name is mine.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Indeed, the issue of Asare de Kubo.
Yes, sir.
In fact, it's supposed to be playing. Let everybody hear what Asare de Kubo has been suppressing the Igbos. Quite unfortunate.
Okay.
Quite unfortunate.
All right.
No, let me come in. You see, Asare de Kubo cannot suppress the Igbos. Asare de Kubo is working and acting firstly for Muhammadu Buhari when he was in office, and now for Bola Tinubu. So the killings, the so-called or what they call the unknown gunmen in the southeast.
Let's take a listen because they said they want everybody to listen to it. I played it during the world news at 6, so let's listen to him there.
Okay. Before he left, and then this night there was this shooting, so that they can set me up. See, I've been working from the time of General Buhari in saving life, restoring hope to those who have lost hope. Go and ask for our work in Imo, or our work now in Anambra. Iyala, Nameshi, you saw the number of dead, uncountable number of dead bodies, skeleton and skulls. How we arrested those people, put them off in coordinated operation with the Nigerian military, with the Nigerian police. And it's so sad that we do all this work. You saw the trailers, you saw the bones, the skulls, hundreds of skulls. You saw the road that had been planted by improvised explosive of Bonigwe, and we risk our life in digging them out. Go to Baga, go to Mangoro, go to Kotagura, go to Wasi, and see what our men are doing for Nigeria and saving lives. One man, one individual had become bigger than everything. We have been saying it, and the country had been handed over to him. He has captured the judiciary. He has captured the presidency. He has captured the security infrastructure of the Nigerian state. He has even captured a chunk of public opinion. The Supreme Court will give judgment on issues that are not before her, that are still subsisting and pending in lower courts. The Supreme Court will declare a person who left his position, resigned from his position to contest for governorship. The Supreme Court will say he did not resign against the constitution of the party. People will say you are a natural ruler and you are playing politics. I'm not a member of any political party. But I have every right to express my opinion on the danger that is coming upon all of us.
All right, so you just listened to Asari Dokubo
Now,
there.
let me make comments on what
All
he
right,
said.
please.
You see,
Remy, please calm down. Just hold on, all right?
Asari Dokubo, when he says my people, my boys, Asari Dokubo, I'm not sure he can run 100 meters. He's not even fit.
Obviously.
So clearly, he's just being used. He doesn't even know he's being used.
But he just admitted to what.
Being used.
Yes.
So like I said, he has.
And they're trying to implicate him.
Good. He has worked for Buhari to decimate people in the southeast.
Yes.
And he's working for Bola Tinubu to also do the same killings. There are times when you see entire villages in the southeast.
Yes.
Bonds looted by these miscreants who call themselves unknown gunmen. And people did not understand that these unknown gunmen were a foreign element.
Yeah, they are sorry to Kuba boys.
Good. So when we know he's been doing this. And people ascribe these killings to the IPOB. No,
yes.
It's not. It's this rascal element. So he's only complaining now against Wike. I feel pity for people like Asari Dokubo. Reason is this. They are just being given peanuts. Go to his areas. Go to his place of origin. Go to the creeks. Go to these areas where the wealth of Nigeria comes from. They have been devastated. They have been polluted. People there are drinking almost partial crude oil.
So why is he not being investigated? Because the Nigerian military came out at some point. This is not the first time he's making this statement, and they said they don't know what he's talking about, that they didn't sign any contract with him. Asari Dokubo came out and said that the federal government contracted him, that they were the ones protecting the Abuja-Kaduna highway, and that since they refused to renew the contract, that the heinous crimes and activities returned there. The same thing too in the southeast. So now, why are they trying to implicate him if there was indeed a contract?
The situation is so opaque. Because this is not a transparent government.
It's terrible. You just admitted to being part of being genocidal.
The killers.
Yes.
So, and he comes and he goes away with it. But I think at the appropriate time, these comments are being recorded. These comments they're not going to be removed overnight. So he'll be brought to account. You can't just be making noise about killing people for what? And then, like we said, we have a governor, Hope Uzodinma, who was imposed by Kekereekun.
Yes.
We have another governor, Nambra's Soludo, who is going about destroying the livelihood of his people,
How?
destroying the cultural artifacts of his people, under the guise of challenging Okit or whatever. No, I'm coming. Let me clear that, because we should call out this man. Can you imagine any governor in the southwest destroying the Ifa oracle, Ifa priest shrine, or the Ifa oracle? You won't see that kind of nonsense. But this man goes about destroying shrines in the name of he's trying to fight fraud. There's also fraud in the churches. Have you destroyed the churches for that? Definitely there are people who are committing fraud. If there's any fraudster, go after him and pick him up and deal with him. You don't come out and say you are destroying Ezewine, you are destroying Okite. These are fundamental parts of Igbo culture. And that is what this soldier is doing. Because they are sent by this system, the Nigerian system, to destroy the basic fabrics of the Igbo land. Even before him, Omahi in Ebonyi State was doing the same kind of brutal killings. And they are still around. So it's good that this Asari Dokubo chap has been saying what he's saying. But let him go back to his village and ask, yes, we are making so much money. Tombolo is making so much money. But what of the people in the creeks? Have you thought about them?
All right. Remy, so sorry for keeping you there.
Yeah,
good evening.
Not at all. Your Excellency, Esther, and the distinguished
Barrister Eze Ewiche. Thank you.
Yeah. The excellent people, in my view, are regular Nigerians like you who are doing their best, and distinguished individuals are your guests who are busy analyzing issues, not men who have been slapped by women because they wanted to do something. Okay, now, the incident between Ezekiel and the other gentleman, it's baffling. It's baffling. I'm reading a book, Esther, called White Malice. In that book, there's an account of how Kwame Nkrumah said he was looking up to Nnamdi Azikiwe, Nahoro, that those are people that motivated him, that helped him to get educated to become who he finally became at that point. Now, if one of the greatest human in Africa said he fetched motivation from Nigerian heroes, Nigerian leaders, how is going to fetch motivation from these people? People said Ezekiel was wrong. Well, maybe Mama was angry because of the behavior of that guy. And Mama was like, you're just like a son. She's not enough to be your mother. And maybe that was right. She angrily said, shut up. If this individual has respect for the office he's holding, is representing a segment of Nigeria, I'm sure the people he's representing, there will be professors among them, there will be highly intelligent people among them. He just came out to disgrace them. So now, we don't have people like Zik anymore, Awolowo anymore. Look at the people that populate our National Assembly. Individual who can slap somebody and make somebody disappear and nothing will happen. And you're not expecting anything good to come out of the Nazareth of these people? Guy, give up on these guys and get yourself.
Thank you so much, Rami. Thank you. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello, good evening. Okay. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello?
Hello, Esther.
Yes.
This is Chike calling back.
Okay,
Just
Chike.
in few seconds. You see, Onyeka's mother is not older than that woman that they encountered with. Onyeka is not that old. His mother is a young woman that cannot even say that he said to that woman. Let me just let people know that.
Okay.
Yeah, his mother is a young woman who have respect.
The unfortunate part of this whole process
for
between this
people, but Onyeka is tough.
They are now the focus.
All right.
I mean, that is not the issue that is baffling the
story. Yes, that's the
thing.
There
are greater issues than the slap or
that's
no
the
slap
thing.
Or shut up or no
Hello, good evening. Hello?
Good evening,
yes, good evening. How are you?
Barrister, good evening, sir. My name is Robert.
Good evening, sir.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir. What's your name?
Okay. My point on this, what happened yesterday about that white boy, something like that, and Ezekiel that, as the Bible said, it is wrong to, bow down on a man, no matter the size or the age. I don't know, is a grandmother, whatever, it is wrong. more so that the person is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. No matter your grievance, you don't shout on a man. Had it been there was no video evidence now, what happened yesterday will have repeated itself about what happened during Natasha time when they suspended her. People were saying it was because of the sexual harassment. No! She violated the Senate rules. She was shouting. I watched the video. I believe every other person watched it. And they were telling her to calm down. She said she was just talking. Okay, go on suspension because it's like you are too big for us to control. The sexual harassment is her part. Have you been okay? She now went to IP and started to cry. Try to gain people's sympathy, all of that. I don't know if Atago is right or wrong. It's none of my concern. The court are there to prove the case is a subject as we speak now. So let them prove their evidence and to know who is wrong, who is right. I mean, nobody witnessed what Ezekole said yesterday. She would have, if she started to cry in that place now, we will get sympathy from Nigerians. And the next thing they will say, a man is shouting down on a woman. So women should know how to behave when they are in public sphere.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. I'll take one more call because I have messages to read, okay? 08036929933. That's the number to call. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello? Yes, good evening. How are you?
This is Sunday calling from Mr.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
I greet everybody in the studio.
Good evening, sir.
I don't have much to take. I don't want to take your time. But I want to say that I think social media is now for
sorry. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well done, sir. What's your name?
I'm Lieutenant Simon by name.
All right, sir.
In fact, I love your program so much.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to follow your line, but it's very hot too.
Sorry.
It's very hot.
Sorry.
I'm very glad with the barrister there.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
But you see this country, my dear, we are fools with evils. And the evils come from our leaders. You see,
rulers,
we don't know
leaders,
where we are going.
Okay.
As if this world is coming to an end in Nigeria, we don't know. There no truth again. Truth again. When you say the truth, the whole world will come down and look at you as if you don't know what you are saying. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Please, for some of you calling, I may not take your calls now. Oh, this lady has been calling. Oh, sorry. Please calm down. I will pick some calls if I still have some time, but I need to read some messages, and so that it doesn't seem as if we do not, react to the messages or read out some messages. I'm going to start from YouTube right about now before they'll say, Esther, you don't read our messages, so let me start with this. Okay, so from the beginning, this person says, Esther, good evening to all. Good evening, Emeka and Wike. The Nigerian government should release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, leader from illegal detention. #Biafra, #free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Akachi says, foul emergency rule. Jessica Simoni is asking, Okay, thank you very much, Jessica. Shina Bakare, Governor Fubara should not go and meet Wike for any peace meeting. Let the people of Rivers State fight for their justice. God will judge all the enemies of Rivers State. Okay. Onsega Ebitemi says, please, Fubara should not go and meet Wike because very soon the music of Kama will soon play on him. Samuel Smile says, good evening, Esther and your guests. The APC-led federal government is more concerned in retaining power and less concerned about bringing good governance to the people. Obed Oji says, Esther, this is another great analyst. Thank you for bringing him on air. Very intelligent, has gift of the gab. Bravo. I sincerely salute. Thank you, Obed Oji. Emeka Nweke says, Justice Kudura Kekereoku is fantastically corrupt. All right. Ezianikwe Frank, Tinubu has collected Rivers State from Wike and Fubara because the administrator reports directly to the Jagaban of Africa. That's why Wike has become uncomfortable. It is game over. Favor Ajakpo says, good evening to Esther and to your guest in the studio. I really like the objective and transparent views of your guests in the studio. Keep it up, boss. Esther, Nigeria has been captured already by the rich political elites, and so painful they were just sitting down doing nothing because we know one die. I weep for us. Blessing says no, they make audio money. Okay. Ezianuke Frank, you said okay, thank you very much. God bless you. I sincerely appreciate your compliment. Blessing, anything that has to do with the people is delayed, but if it has to do with their looting, it's done immediately. Wilson Idemudia says, I always like men who speak truth to any issue raised. Thank you, sir, for your vibrancy. Akachi says, a real gutter language. I think he was reacting to what one boy said, like his attitude. Philip Wilson says, for goodness sake, if the senator had slapped Obieze Kwesili, I tell you, he will go to jail for assault. Akachi said, shut up isn't an assault. Blessing, you don't hit a woman. Barrister, please. Chinedu Okeke, I disagree, sir. He was not there as a senator, but as a witness. Can a man tell a woman, shut up? Get a transcript on the matter. Akachi says, I disagree with you, sir. Grace Bumi says she can slap him back as well. Chinedu Okeke says, I'm not sure the immunity covers the whole building. Olu, barrister, point of correction, sir. The senator is just a mere witness as well, not as a senator. Senator Nwabonyi is there as Akpabio's supporter. Akachi says the committee was even biased. Uche Chigbo says this barrister doesn't know what he's saying. Yellow Popo. Uche now Yadiri. All right. Okay, Blessing. She said, can you please shut up? It was a question because he had been talking over them and not let them talk. Barrister Elvis, you're insulting yourself, not me. All right. Chinedu Okeke says, Blessing, if a man slaps me, he better not sleep that night because he will meet his maker. Okay. Thank you very much, Blessing. Let me see. Olu says the president doesn't need to be smart. They are bed of the same feathers. Jabless says, and they deliberately positioned him beside them to do what he did. All right. Obed Oji says, Esther, that man mistook you for Chioma Innocent. Both of you look alike and are even beginning to have similar voice. Wow. Jobless. And the same man has been on an international television and said that Natasha had 6 children from 6 different men. He's referring to Umweboy. Because that was what he said that first time. To discredit her personality. He said she has different husband and that she has different children for the different husband.
Does he have only one wife? Himself.
Abio. Leo Ozama says, I can't believe Obieze Kwesili because respect is earned and I don't think the current ones deserve any respect. All right. Akachi says the Senate committee is biased and supporting Akma Abio. All right. I think this person says, why Obuni Gwasari? You are the one that did it. Don't worry. Time shall tell. All right. Thank you very much. A lot of you complimented the barrister. Thank you so much for your messages on YouTube. I think we've been able to cover Marvelous Joe. Well done to the barrister. Big Marvelous Joe of Africa hailing you. You get mouth, sir. All right. I think this is all we can take on YouTube. So let's go to WhatsApp. Good evening, moderator. Nwagod, VOP fans, and our guests in the house. Nkoye is from Ikotomi, Lagos. Madam Obieze Kwesili in the Senate. The issue would have been hooliganism and not shut up. No dictionary defines shut up as an insult. Those saying it as insult and are trying to be emotional or sympathetic to their boy, not grammatically correct. They have primitive mindset and understanding of sound of words and not the meaning. I was fighting being called stubborn boy until the late Gani on interview accepted being stubborn lawyer with explanations and my understanding changed. Madam Obi spoke good English. Don't go further. Put an end to your action and nothing more. The problem is one man's libido is causing the nation. Sexuality. All right, good day, VOP. I don't think the sole administrator don't have power to appoint caretaker chairman for local government. I don't think that the whole River State money should be released to the sole administrator. Only the administration and state staff salary fees should be released to River State Administrator Elder Isaac from Idimu. From Imai Nisolo, Nigerians have entered one chance under this government. Democracy died in Nigeria some years back, but was finally buried by this APC government. Which way, Nigeria? Ima from Isolo. Good evening, Esther. Please don't be offended. You have been reading my input here on WhatsApp, but you don't mention my name. It has happened on several occasions, and I'm not feeling good about it. Please kindly look into it. A blessed night to you, Esther, from HRH BC Nwoko in Oshodi. BC Nwoko, I am so sorry. I sincerely do apologize. Obviously, it's not deliberate, but I think I've been able to read it out now. Good evening, VOP. Please let your technical team check your frequency signal. It's very poor for like a week plus now. What's your name and where is your location, that so that we can monitor it and work on it? All right, thank you very much. This is a well-learned and fearless original barrister in whom I am well pleased, not like some people who use emotions and propaganda to analyze. Oh guys, you didn't put your name now, put your name, please put your name. Thank you very much for your message. Good evening, VOP, Esther, and the guests in the house. The whole thing that happened in River State must have been organized and masterminded by Wike. Mr. President and the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court overruled the case on written script and not according to the rule of law and the Constitution of Nigeria. Everything was just upside down from the day of declaring state of emergency before proceeding to National Assembly, releasing funds to the administration. It baffles me that this irregularities might continue right from satellite town. This administration is claiming that they are above the law, and the same administration is saying that some people are not obeying the law. That is why they have made any law that works. For the state of emergency in River State, please, is the Tinubu not aware that bombs are exploding in the north and many people and soldiers are dying in Borno State, Zamfara State, Kaduna State, etc. And there is no state of emergency in any of those states, which was another big mistake under this government. Chairman from Agbara. Good evening, Esther and Oga in the house. I'm asking in River State. I thought the money that the court stopped CBN from releasing to River State Governor Sim could only be released by the same court process of pronouncement and not by instructing CBN to pay. From King Joe.
Very correct. I mean, that's why I say this is illegality upon illegality.
Okay. Good evening, Esther Machiko, and another intelligent barrister, Eze Oluche. In fact, God bless you people that are talking truth to power. Barrister Oluche, people cannot rise up to fight for their rights. Why? Because we are divided. Some people are still supporting this state of emergency in Rivers. Neka from Surulere. Good evening, sis. We never hungry. When we are all ready, we all know exactly what to do. Lazy citizens. If just 20 million Nigerians out of 200 million can come out, I bet you all these so-called leaders or army police will run away. Let's continue giving excuses for our failure. When hunger almost killed all of us, we go know what to do.
Sorry, let me just...
Okay.
The lady who said, the last one you said, who said we are divided. We are not divided.
Okay.
The 2023 elections proved we are not divided. Because Mr. Peter B won in Lagos, one in Oshun, one in Rivers, one in Plateau. I mean, one everywhere. So we are not divided. Nigerians at every strata know themselves.
Okay.
But it's just that a few unscrupulous politicians go about and they tweak the electoral figures, and then somebody emerges as the president. That doesn't mean we are divided. It's for us now to protect that our unity and ensure that next time, when they try to play this kind of prank that Mahmoud Yakubu played in 2023, we tell him effectively that enough is enough.
All right. Well brought up men do not throw words about also. That guest person as of yours is violent and biased. She only said shut up. He should have replied without hurling more insults. Barrister Ezra, you seem not to be different from Senator Mwaboy, meaning that you fight in court. No. Antonia from Afro Media.
Well, feel free to have your own opinion, but the reality is that women at times hide under the issue of gender. And I said she did wrong by saying shut up. And the senator also went over the bar. He did it too much.
All right. Good evening, Esther. I'm Adeoye from Ayobo. Please, is Wike God? Does he want to take or equate himself to God? Please, Nigerians, let's resist this embarrassment Wike brought upon us. Nigerians, we need to take an urgent action to stop this nonsense like Wike is doing. Enough is enough. For how long shall we be fools in our own country?
Let me correct one impression.
Okay.
What we are seeing is the master strategy is called Bola Tinubu. Wike is zero. Nyesom Wike amounts to naught. Okay. All that Nyesom Wike is doing is what he has been instructed to do by Bola Tinubu. Likewise, what Akpabio is doing. They can't do it jack without the president's permission. Do you think that Wike will go to River State with the number of soldiers he went to without the president's permission? But the issue is that Mr. Tinubu has succeeded in deflating attention from himself. So everybody is not talking of Wike, and the man's head is going big when it's empty. The other people are not talking of Akpabio. Akpabio can do nothing. If Tinubu wants Akpabio out today he's out. If Tinubu wants the CJ Kekereku out today, she's out.
All right.
So, I just to have that clear. What we are witnessing is a master strategist called Bola Tinubu. So, forget Wike, forget Akpabio. The target should be Bola Tinubu.
Jibril Gawat came out. He typed on X and said, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, PDP, SDP, Labour Party, like the person who is in charge of all the political parties in the country. Good evening, Esther. Good job you're doing. Regarding Ezekwesili, she was completely in the wrong. She behaved like someone from the gutter. Shegun from Alabadu. All right. Good evening, House. Cockroach said he's a very good dancer, but Chicken will not allow him to display his dancing skills. You can now see how President Tinubu unfolded his skills, having given a chance to display his dancing skills on stage. Mr. Tinubu, a Democrat who fought IBB, Abacha, etc. for plotting, taking over government unconstitutional, is now seen doing same in River State, not minding what other world leaders will say. For Fubara, he should remember that Wike and his agents are not done with him. Never him answer Wike's call in Abuja for dialogue, lest he will not like the outcome. For Senator Obi, she should remember that she's an African woman with culture and traditions. She should remember the tribe she comes from doesn't allow women to insult a man in the public, no matter the size of the man. No full-fledged man will take such insult from any wild woman in public. Remember, Tinubu's wife and Senator Dino, VOP, you're doing a great job. May God continue to rest upon you all. Thank you very much.
Let me correct one impression.
Okay.
This last person called Tinubu a Democrat. Tinubu is a pretender at Democrats.
So the struggle for democracy wasn't ideal.
Do you know that as governor of Lagos State, Tinubu had about 4 deputy governors. He was removing them at will. Tinubu has instituted a dictatorial system in Lagos that he himself only decides who becomes the governor. If you don't do his will, he throws you out. So those who mistake, they don't understand Tinubu. I mean, when I launched my book, Tinubu was the chief launcher. That was in 2010. So I know this guy very well. Those who call him a Democrat, who try to blow his trumpet, don't know jack about this character. Tinubu is a very intelligent man, and if you don't nip him in the bud, if you don't cage him, he's gonna do worse. But Democrats, zero.
Good evening, VOP. Wike is talking like a child. Wike is not God, and he doesn't know what will happen tomorrow. Chief Akwebe. All right, well done. Good evening, VOP. Does this okay, wow. This person is insulting. Why now? Chineke, calm down. Oh, wait, I can't read this. It's too much. You don't do this, please. I beg you. All right, please. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Mention his name so he knows the people know who was.
No, I don't know.
He didn't write his name.
What he wrote was too bad. You don't write like that about. Please, it's not this station you write about government like that. Obiko. The man there is very candid. He's a true son of his father. I guess he's core and typical Igbo man at Aloy CN Esquire. The barrister in the house, I need his contact, please. I want him to be my lawyer. All right. We'll send you his number very soon. Good evening, Esther. Obi Ezekwesili did not do well in one hand, while the senator was excessive in his reaction. Wike should ask Amechi and Rochelle Okorocha how they were used and dumped. His political days are numbered. President Tinubu has achieved his aim in reverse by the release of the funds to capture 2027 elections. Thank you for the nice job from Mazi Eweremadu. All right, well done, Mazi. Okay, there are too many educated illiterates in Nigeria. Is shut up an abusive word? This matter has exposed a lot of abusive men. Shame. Okay, my name is Iche White from Ota, Ogun State. Good evening, Esther and Barrister. In fact, I'm so impressed about the barrister in the house. He always hits the hammer on the head of the nail. My bros, keep it up and always stand on the truth. God bless you. Good evening, Esther. Okay.
So those who are making correction about the language, good morning in some context can be an insult. Good morning, depending on the context you use, it can be an insult.
Well, we saw what happened.
Those who think
like we saw what happened there. He kept on interrupting. They were discussing. He kept on infusing himself, wanting to be heard. And Obi had been indicating that she wanted to speak. He kept on, it was like, you guys are making noise. Let me say what I want to say and be done. And she said, shut up. Like, can you shut up? So I think she was also exasperated by the action of the man.
Better words you could have used?
Yes, obviously, there were better words.
So if the man felt he was insulted, okay, that's it. But
good evening, Esther Wachukwu, Barrister. At times, Esther, your questions are emotional, okay? When Barrister says that Obi said is bogus, so be it. You're still wondering? Barrister did not be on the side of Obi. You don't tell married man in public gathering to shut up. It's an insult. However, on Wike, his only one vote doesn't cause Atiku Abubakar losing the 2023 election. Just God's decision. Wike's days are numbered in President Tinubu's cabinet, and what is going to happen to him would be worse than expected, because that may put an end to his political relevance. Like what Barrister said, he'll be left to lick his wounds. He should go and ask people like Arafai, Asari Dokubo. Even Amici is not left out. Mr. Ogumbi from Idimo. Good evening, Esther Wachukwu and Barrister in the studio. My name is Prince Samuel Ofoibisi Oji from Ajegunle, Akpakpa, Lagos. On Natasha's issue, I have to sincerely thank INEC for their observation and on their stand on the recall issue. On the issue of having all elections on the same day, this would have been a brilliant idea, only if technology will be fully deployed and used in a transparent way. It would have been a game changer. God bless Nigeria. Greetings to Esther and Barrister. Please, if not for rigging of election, can one person say he'll make sure another doesn't win an election, that millions will vote when he has only one vote? Manje from Egbeda. Well done. Telling a man to shut up in the public is an act of indiscipline and disrespect. A husband and senator, for that matter, that nonsense can only happen in the Western world. This is Africa, I beg, meaning she can equally tell that to her husband. My name is Paul from Isheri. All right, Paul. Good evening, Esther and Barrister Eze Eluche, Ima from Shasha Akunwajo. I quite agree with the barrister's analysis. Tinubu and Wike see themselves as God because of the people's mandate they stole. Good evening. I reiterate, Tinubu did not win the 2023 presidential election, and I can swear with my life now, Lear from Lagos. It is not an Igbo culture to worship idols, and Soludo is doing absolutely well. He's negating what she said about Soludo destroying those traditional altars. He's saying that it is not an Igbo culture to worship idols and all of that.
He should ask himself what his parents were worshiping before the Christians came.
All right.
The real example is, can any governor in the Southwest decide to outlaw the far priests? So clearly what Soludo is doing, he's exceeding his bounds. There are fraudsters.
So he's desecrating the traditional altars.
Oh yes. You can't go to and say you are going to uproot Amadioha or any of the various deities people worship that kept our forefathers. You want to destroy them? Even if you go to the Vatican, there are so many, how will I put it, masquerades, idols brought from Africa that are there. And somebody's here destroying under the guise of removing whatever. I don't know.
All right, good evening. Anyone made by government will be destroyed by government when he feels he's becoming larger than life. If Nnamdi Kanu is being used by government, he would have made a deal with them and get his freedom. Anyone who doesn't understand it should go to the spiritual world and ask Osama bin Laden. He who kills by the sword goes by the sword, and any hard man must meet his match. From Chief Udo. Good evening, Esther and Barrister. It's clear Madam Obi didn't mean to be rude to that senator as a man. That wasn't her intention. She was only trying to maintain decorum, saying that the senator was becoming excessively, uncontrollably forward. Already, Akpabio and APC camp know the personalities that are not their supporters, and so has sharpened their tongues, waiting for the day there will be an encounter. But one good thing about this issue is that it is exposing those self-exalted men who see themselves as mini-god over women. By their call, we shall know them. Grace from Ejigbo. From Yamiri, Lagos. On contemporary national political issues, I laugh aloud when the presenter introduced Barrister Eze as unbiased. I'm instantly forced to approach the dictionary to find the true definition of bias. If Mr. Eze is not biased, then the word bias has no place in the English lexicon. All right. This is a man who has over time consistently displayed his incurable hatred for President Tinubu and everyone he sees as his allies. I'm not contesting his right to be biased, but if he so chooses though, but then while on live radio, he is expected to be very objective and dispassionate as a lawyer and analyst. For example, he refused to recover from the hangover from the outcome of the last presidential election 2 years ago. He said that Tinubu didn't win the election but failed to tell us who won. I followed the entire court proceedings from the presidential tribunal to the Supreme Court and did all honesty, no admissible evidence was presented by either Obi or Atiku to dispute Tinubu's figures. We'll remember that even the judges were openly angry with Obi's legal team for their failure to prove anything. Is that how someone is declared a winner? All right.
The response to that is Tinubu was not even qualified to contest for the election.
All right. This person says, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell. If Obi had won the case in court, wouldn't he have been declared the winner? After all, what is good for the goose should be good for the gander, isn't it? Let him answer this question with all sense of honesty and responsibility. I like and admire his intellectual posture, but I believe he can do better with his manner of analyzing issues rather than politicking. People look up to him to expect guidance on matters of law and justice.
Okay, let me respond to that. One of the things, the law is very clear that if you must also win in Abuja. Tinubu did not win in Abuja. So clearly he was not qualified to be declared president. So he did not win the elections. I mean, it's that simple. You don't quarrel with realities. Now, as per who won, that's why I don't go to the extent of declaring anybody the winner.
Okay.
But I can tell you categorically that based on the Nigerian Constitution, Mr. Bola Tinubu did not win the elections, should not have contested for the election.
All right, good evening, everyone to you in the studio. I love some of the barristers and allies supporting that loud-like behavior of that senator and saying he should have slapped a woman is a no-no. You don't tell a man to shut up, same with a woman. Where is the place of courtesy? That your senator sounds like a professional subtle bully. Respect is reciprocal. Omalicha from Oba. Esther, please read my message. I have read your message. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it here in the studio, right? Anytime we have very intricate and topical issues and conversations like this, we try as much as possible to look at avenues through which, while we're discussing Nigeria's wahala and all the political imbroglio, we try to also make money from situations. We expose you to outlets through which you can make money, through which you can make proper investment, through which you can survive. Remember, I told you at the beginning of this program that we should try as much as possible to survive, right? So that's what we're going to do. So meanwhile, I actually have Kudos Homes right here to give us insight into how we can properly invest specifically, in real estate. Kudos, good evening. How are you?
I'm very fine. Once again, my name is Victor Osmoke from Kudos Homes Limited, and I'm here to tell you about property investment.
Okay.
Because there's a saying that says the only investment on earth that can stand the test of time is earth itself. So that's why it is good for everyone, regardless of the economic situation. The reason why land investment is so good is that you can start, especially when you are investing with Kudos Homes Limited, you can start with whatever you have. With an initial deposit of 500,000, you have become a proud landowner. So let me quickly tell you where we have our properties here in Nigeria. So in Lagos, we have in Ikorodu, Agbowa Ikorodu, and with the name of the estate that we have there is called Kudos City. Kudos City, once again, is located in Agbowa Ikorodu, and it's going for just 1.5 million naira per plot. 1.5 million naira per plot. Also in Ekpe, that's Omuketu Ekpe, we have Kudos Heritage Phase 1. Kudos Heritage Phase 1 is going for just 3.5 million naira per plot, and we have the Phase 2, which is going for just 2.5 million naira per plot. And we also have the Kudos Heights. Kudos Heights is also located in Omuketu Ekpe, and Kudos Heights is going for just 4.5 million naira per plot. Now, all of these estates in Ekpe, you will be asking, why are all these estates there in Ekpe? Because Ekpe is one of the fastest rising city in Lagos today. The new Lagos International Airport is also located around Ekpe. We have the Lagos Film City, which is also located around Ekpe, and we have the largest food logistic hub also located in Ekpe. So it's a good place because of the availability of so many developments around it. So the number to call to start investing is 0905 904 7514. 0905 904 7514. Now, also in Delta State, we have the Fairview Estate Phase 2, which is located in Ibuzo main town, very close. That's via the Admiralty Drive, where we have the Admiralty University. You get the Fairview Estate Phase 2 in Ibuzo, and it's going for just 2.5 million naira per plot. 2.5 million naira per plot. We also have the Kudos Heights, which is also located in Ibuzo. Now, this is opposite the Admiralty University, and Kudos Heights is going for just 1.5 million naira per plot. If you know the famous St. Thomas College, is along that St. Thomas College road, and it's going for just 1.5 million naira per plot. Now, we also have Kudos Court. Kudos Court is located in the same Ibuzo, and is going for just 4.5 million naira per plot. Now, we have so many of our clients here in Lagos that want to buy land in any of these states, maybe Enugu or in Asaba. We have offices there that you can visit, and they will take you to go see the property location. If you have anybody in any of those states, they can also go for inspection for you. Now, let me quickly talk about our property in Enugu. Now, in Enugu, we have the Fairview Estate Phase 1 still selling, and it's going for just 1.5 million naira per plot. Now, Fairview Estate Phase 1 is located in Udo Budonike, and is very close to the Akani Biam International Airport. That is the Enugu State International Airport. Now, on that same area, we have the Godfrey Okoye University, and we also have the Caritas University, and we have one big market that is called the Jonathan's Market. So in that area, there are so many development around the area, and it's going for just 1.5 million naira per plot. Now, also in Enugu, we have the Fairview Estate Phase 2, which is located in Amokwenike, and is a very good location as well, and it's going for just 2.5 million naira per plot. Now, let me call the phone number again. The phone number is 0905 904 7514 0905 904 7514. Now, we are not just asking you to come and invest, we are also telling you to come and see before you invest. So that's why we have our inspection days here in Lagos to be every Thursdays. Like tomorrow, you can join us. We'll be taking our clients to our site. So every Thursdays and Saturdays, we go for inspection here in Lagos. Our inspection is totally free. We take you to the inspection site, and we bring you back to the nearest bus stop to your home. And also, our inspection days in Enugu and in Asaba, that's Delta State, is every day excluding Sundays. We go from Mondays to Saturday, so you can come and inspect the place. So we are giving you enough time, those that want to travel down to inspect, or if you have somebody there, you can prepare the person to come for inspection. So our office address here in Lagos is at number 171 Egbeda Idimu Road, Abule Odu bus stop, Egbeda, Lagos. 171 Egbeda Idimu Road, Abule Odu bus stop, Egbeda, Lagos. And you can catch us on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are also on TikTok. You can get us at Kudos Homes Limited, so that you can get live update of what we are doing in our organization. So the number again to call is 0905 904 7514 0905 904 7514. So with Kudos Homes Limited, we are helping you to actualize your dream home. Stop dreaming and start living in your dream home.
I like that.
Exactly.
Amazing. Kudos Home. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
We
Esther.
sincerely do appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having
actually
me.
being here.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. All right, ma'am.
All right. We'll take one call, and then the barrister will speak, and then we'll be done with the program. Hello. Good evening. Quickly, please. We're wrapping up. What's your name? Hello.
Joe from Bariga anyway.
Joe, please be fast. How are you?
Esther, how are you?
I'm fine.
Hello?
I can hear you, sir. Please, quickly. We're already
Esther,
done.
How are you?
I'm
First?
fine. Good. I'm good.
Good. Miss Teze,
How are you, sir?
I'm thanking you so much for your analysis.
Thank you very much.
Well, we have finished this program anyway.
Yes.
It's Joe from Bariga.
All right.
Let us sleep it till tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Good night, my dear.
Good night,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Thank you very much. Barrister Ezra, what's your take?
Well, the thing is, with the ushering in of this regime from 2023, Nigeria went into a new depth, and then we have to all realize that it's in our path. We all have to play our part to rescue Nigeria from the depth we are sinking. Because unless you have other countries to go to, some of us don't have any other country, so we have to do whatever is possible to ensure that at the next possible time we put enough is enough, because this can only get worse. When Buhari was around, we thought it was the worst we can go to. But now we have seen that from the economy, from the security sector, from the trade, from the academia, Nigeria has degenerated seriously in the course of the past 2 years. So we cannot continue in this way. Let us put a stop to all this nonsense. All
right, thank you very much, Barrister Eze, which I sincerely do appreciate you being here because I know what it takes. Sorry for some of you that we couldn't take their calls and messages, so sincerely do apologize. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have more conversations with intellectually edifiable individuals who will be right here with us in the studio. My name is Esther Machiku. Do have yourself an amazing, beautiful Wednesday evening. Bye for now.